All right, and welcome into the Betting Pros College Football Show. We're officially a month into the CFB season, and wow, have things shaken up in just a few short weeks. We'll break down all the movement today, plus give you our Week 4 early picks and line movement predictions. I'm your host, Seth Woolcock, hoping for a strong rebound after an opening stretch that has me not seeing the field very well. Today, I'm joined by a man who knows a thing or two about turning the page. He's our resident college football betting expert here at Betting Pros. It's Scott Bogman. Bogman, how are you as the sun rises on yet another collegiate football weekend ahead of us?
Listen, I want to light last weekend on fire and burn it. I feel like in Two for the Money, grown men calling and crying. That it was that kind of weekend for us, Seth. And this is where you just turn the page. I feel like I was just wrong on everything. It started on Friday, missed my Colorado pick. Yep. And Kansas State. I just underestimated the give up of these teams, specifically early in the year on the road give ups. And Kansas State opened up the second half. It looked like they would maybe come back. Colorado just never looked into it. So it started there and it just didn't get better. And even the Longhorns, right? Like Arch Manning looks miserable. He looks hurt. And even when he's not looking hurt, he looks like he doesn't know when or where to throw the football right now. So nothing is going well for me to start early in the season here. But listen, I'm exactly what you want. Just make me a fade right now.
Hey man, and it's that time of year too when you have to remind yourself, like, look, everything's not going to go your way. But at the same time, we're going to be sitting here 6 months from now saying, oh my goodness, we need college football back in our lives. So I am here to celebrate it. I am here to continue to wager my money on it. Win or lose, we appreciate everyone who's rode with us along this so far this season. As always, shout out to everyone who's here with us on the Betting Pros YouTube channel or the audio feed. The easiest free way to support Boggs, myself, everyone here at Betting Pros. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoy this type of content. Also, make sure if you're new, you're subscribing to the channel so you don't miss a moment of CFB betting coverage this season. And if you want a chance to score this signed Alvin Kamara Saints helmet for free, courtesy of our friends over at pristineauction.com, all you need to do is head to bettingpros.com/contest, complete the form, and either A, download that Betting Pros app, B, leave a review for the Betting Pros podcast, or C, subscribe to our social media channels. We're at Betting Pros on X and TikTok and at Betting Pros NFL on Instagram. The more actions you complete, the more entries you're going to receive, and we will be announcing a winner right here on the channel, so make sure you turn on those notifications so you can be alerted when new episodes are up and to claim your prize if you are that lucky winner. And before we jump into the next slate, let's look back on the Week 3 that it was. Number 19, Alabama, they run away from Wisconsin 38-14. Handsomely.
Got the team total on that one.
Well, good. And
I got that, and I got Miami minus 9.5 first half. Those are the two that I got.
There we go. Alabama handsomely rewarded in the rankings yet again. Number 17, Ole Miss, they escape Arkansas 41-35. Vanderbilt crushes number 11, South Carolina 31-17. One of the shockers of the weekend.
Lenore got hurt.
Yeah. Number 3, LSU beats Florida 20-10. Number 5, Miami, they end number 18, South Florida's Cinderella run 49-12. There was a really pretty lengthy delay in that game as well. And then Georgia Tech, they claimed their top spot in the ACC, beating number 12 Clemson 24-21. Number 18, Texas A&M, they beat Notre Dame, make them pay for a botched hold 41-4. And South Bend. Boggs, who are the betting risers and fallers for you in Week 3?
Yeah, I mean, I think, Bama looked good, but I just don't think that – I don't believe that their run game is all the way back. So, they beat Wisconsin. Obviously, Wisconsin is tough. Miami looked great. Obviously, USF and that streak came to a stop here. But, yeah, I mean, look – I'm not seeing it well right now. I mean, that's pretty much what it is. Georgia and Tennessee was such a fun game. I never saw it that way. I thought, okay, Joey Aguilar has been okay against subpar opponents, but man, he put it on Georgia, and Gunnar Stockton looked revamped. Iowa State barely getting past Arkansas State. What was that about? So, yeah, I mean, look, Vandy. Yeah, Vandy was great. Oregon was good again. Oklahoma looks really good right now, as much as I hate to say that. Missouri looks very sharp right now. And I don't know who the hell to pick in Illinois and Indiana this week. So we'll get to that in a little bit. But yeah, it was an interesting week. I feel like we learned a lot about some of these teams. And we're obviously taking all this information and moving forward with as much information as we can.
Some other followers for me, UCLA, bowl rush by New Mexico. Nico, I mean, everyone at Tennessee, you can at least be smiling that like you have upgraded a quarterback, and it seems like you maybe got a better personality and fit for that locker room. Tough scene for Vols fans, man. I mean, how close can you get every single year? That was really tough. Really liked what I saw out of Michigan too, man. I mean, I gave Central Michigan some props for beating San Jose State in week 1 on the road and then holding tough against Pitt in the first half in week 2. Michigan wins 63-3. I thought that was a pretty good note too. I will say, Bogman, kind of just on your note, is, you know, I don't think the public is doing super well this year from a betting perspective, just because we are seeing more and more in college football just what this turnover is doing with the transfer portal every single year. There's not a lot you can take away from a previous season. I mean, Notre Dame, man, we knew last year, like, they had one of the absolute best defenses. You were betting unders to save your life every single week on the Irish, and then, you know, just totally you know, if you would have told me, Boggs, that Notre Dame scores 40 points and they don't cover,
they're winning by 15 at least, right? Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you on that. I did not think I did not think that Notre Dame's defense was going to give up that many points. Marcel Reed looked amazing. You know, Clemson, we talked about this off air.
Oh, Clemson
had the number 1 returning, you know, offensive production, the number 1 total returning production, 5th on defense. NFL level players all across the D line and all of that. We heard all offseason, and you know, everything looked good there. This was a playoff team last year, and I don't know how we trust Cade Klubernick right now. He just looks terrible, and the whole offense looks bad. So there's just not there aren't good options right now for some of these teams, or at least what we thought were some sure things are absolutely not sure things right now.
Yeah, there's, you know, not a lot of trust out there in the betting markets, you know, by a team-by-team basis. And, you know, you mentioned Clemson there. Like, I'm not surprised they lost to Georgia Tech. I got that 150 to 1 ticket on them, baby.
I think every time I see Haynes King beat another good team, I'm like, man, Seth has got that. You might get the big payoff at the end of the year. We'll see.
We'll see what happens. At least try to, you know, cash out on that one at some point. But I also believed in Clemson. I had a 20 to 1 ticket on them to win the championship as well. So I was also high on the Tigers. So shocking to see kind of what we've seen from them. Also, the Buffalo Bulls, you are dead to me now. I will say that. Going up against Kent State, who has like 1 win over the past 2 season, Boggs. I'm out on the golf course early Saturday morning. My buddy's like, "Oh, who you betting on today?" And I say, "Oh, the Bulls against, you know, Kent State." And he's like, "Oh yeah, I had to go to Kent State for you know, shoot a soccer game there a couple years ago." And I was like, "Oh, how was it?" And he's like, you know, words I can't say online, but not, you know, not a place you want to spend a lot of time on. And he said he went to throw away a drink in a trash can, and he said there was a raccoon in there. So, Buffalo wins by, you know, just a few points as a 20.5 point favorite over Kent State, where they have raccoons in their trash cans, Boggs. So
yeah, I mean, I don't care what they have in their trash cans. Where did these points come from? Is what I'm wondering. Like, where did all these points come from against a Buffalo defense that was supposed to be strong?
They held Minnesota week 1 to like 17 points or something crazy.
I mean, we went over trends, right? Too, like Ohio State and Ohio. I'm not even a trends guy, but I look at Ryan Day smacking the crap out of the MAC at every single opportunity that he could have. This game finished 37-9. I had the over 51, and I told you this off air, but I just want to say this story, and you can go back and watch it if you want, by the way. I believe there's 17 seconds left. There's a couple downs left. Ohio has the ball. They're right outside the end zone. They're at like the 11 or 12. They do a play action and hit the tight end over the top. It hits him in the hands. He drops it. I go, okay, well, let's just run that play again. Just give me my touchdown and get the over. And they run up the middle and let the clock burn for the rest of the game. You know, it's only 17 seconds left. I get it. You're going to lose, but you had my over a second ago and the stupid tight end just dropped it. I mean, these are the margins that we're working with right now. It's it's not so much fun when you're on the wrong side, but we're going to try to be on the right side this week. And look, either stay away or fade us right now. We're just not seeing it well. But like I said before, you can use us that way as well.
Yeah.
So
yeah. We're going to call it how we see it, man. We'll tell you when we win. We'll tell you when we lose. And I think that's enough. Aaron's is grieved today. And I did, thanks
this
everyone. Thanks for everyone for riding alongside with us as we turn the page from a just brutal week 3, one of the worst betting weekends of our lives, I think. But we are on to week 4, where the action is going to get started here in Salt Lake City, where we have one of the 3 top 25 matchups on the slate with the number 17 Texas Tech Red Raiders. They're catching 3.5 to 4 points to the Utah Utes. After an offseason of heavy spending, the Texas Tech Red Raiders are 3-0 ATS, 3-0 straight up as well. They've beat the likes of Arkansas, Pine Bluff, Kent State, and Oregon State. So not the best competition, but fifth-year senior quarterback Baron Morton, he's slinging them right now, man. Leads the country in passing touchdowns with 11. Also supported by some really nice veteran wide receivers. He has Cole Eakin out there, Caleb Douglas, and a defense that is top 15 in total defense. Utah, meanwhile, our guy Terrell Furman Jr., he was high on this program coming into the season. They have bounced back in a big way as well. They're 3-0 ATS and straight up as well. They have wins over Cal Poly, UCLA, and Wyoming. So, again, not the best competition either. But we have New Mexico transfer dual threat quarterback Devin Dampier. He has been great. He has guided the Utah Utes to a top 10 ranked total offense, backed by a top 15 total defense as well. So Boggs, 2 teams that have come out on fire to start the season against some weaker competition. Is there line movement throughout the week, and which way do you see this going, if any way?
I don't think that we see too much movement, because I think this is just going to stay flipping between 3.5 to 4, 3.5 to 4. We have it right around Utah minus 3.9, so we're right in the middle of that. I'll say this, like, if we're just using the eye test here, like, I think Utah is one of the better teams in the Big 12. And we've talked about them. They had the defense last year. They didn't have the offense. Everything fell apart, obviously, and they just were not a very good squad. Texas Tech spent all that money, and they look great right now. Like, they're the number 1 graded team according to Pro Football Focus in college football. Number 1 in run defense, and Utah runs the ball a lot. I believe they're 3rd in pace of play, right? So this offense moves the ball. Couldn't get me to my over because their defense was too good, and they didn't let Oregon State score last week. So I think, honestly, this one is just too close to me. I think I would lean money line on this, and I would go towards Utah, but you're not getting enough juice to make it a decent bet. So this one might be just like I think if I'm getting points, if this does trend towards Utah and I can get to 4.5, 5.5, at that point, I'm going to take Texas Tech. If you want to alt this spread and take Texas Tech that way, I also like that bet, but this is either a money line or a stay away, and I want to say the over, but I don't trust my overs anymore. So, give me Texas Tech plus points, or go money line on this one and add it to something.
That's my early lean here, Boggs, is that over, because I really like what Morton has done for Texas Tech, even if maybe I'm just a team total over here on them. But it's hard to say, how good is Utah's defense? That's what I don't know, because they haven't
played anybody.
And same for Tech, right? So if I'm guessing, I don't think these defenses are as good as, the total rankings make them look out to be, just because they haven't played any good offenses really. So I'm going to lean towards the over, but we'll check back in on this one on Wednesday with Terrell. Also, before we keep it moving, we are super excited to announce that our new presenting sponsor of the program is Hard Rock Bet. Everybody knows and loves Hard Rock hotels and casinos, and now you can also use the top-rated Hard Rock Bet sportsbook to place your bets all NFL and college football season long. Hard Rock Bet is the only legal book in the state of Florida and is also available in Arizona, Ohio, New Jersey, Indiana, Tennessee, Virginia, Illinois, and Colorado, with more states launching all the time. You can also play on Hard Rock Bet's online casino if you are in the state of New Jersey. From here on out, you'll hear us use the Hard Rock Bet lines whenever we're talking about the games. As we continue throughout the NFL season and the college football season, make sure you're signing up for Hard Rock Bet and make a $5 bet, and you'll get $100.50 back in bonus bets if you win that bet. Head over to Hard Rock Bet, sign up, and make your first deposit today. Glad we didn't have any bonus bets on the line this last weekend, Boggs, over at Hard Rock. Or I don't know if we would have got those 150 in free, man.
I mean, there was literally 998 yards of offense in Georgia and Tennessee. Like, I'm not going to miss another game that big again.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. All right, let's keep it moving here. Also in the noon slate, the Clemson Tigers, they hope to bounce back when they face the Syracuse Orange as 17.5-point home favorites. Syracuse, they hit the reset button this offseason. They're now led by Notre Dame transfer quarterback Steve Angeli. They could have used him holding that extra point, I think. He leads Notre Dame in passing yards with almost 360. They're 2-1 straight up, 1-2 ATS, but they have failed to cover against UConn and Tennessee. Meanwhile, Clemson, we talked about it earlier in the program already, man. This is a team, they returned so much production on both sides of the ball, opened up as 20-1 favorites to win the championship in February. They're now all the way out at 75-1 after failing to cover in any games this season, and they dropped outright to both Georgia Tech and LSU. The Tigers, they have won 6 straight in this rivalry, but are 3-3 ATS against the Orange. Boggs, after another letdown from Dabo Swinney and the boys, can we get back invested, and will money come in on Clemson, widening this spread as the week progresses?
I mean, BP shows that it shouldn't, right? And I don't trust Syracuse really at all. I didn't trust them against Tennessee. There's a lot of moving pieces there, but I didn't trust them probably too much, and I trusted Clemson way too much, right? So I've lost bets on Clemson twice already. So I think for this game, I just, Clemson, we can't bank on them. They've been awful. 261 yards and 10 points against LSU. 316 yards and 27 points against Troy. 381 yards and 21 points against Georgia Tech. They just have looked, Syracuse looked bad, right? So I don't really trust Syracuse. I think they can score some points. Steve Angeli can put up some points, even maybe against this Clemson defense. But what I really don't trust is Cade Klubnik right now. And I think the safest bet in this game, and I'm staying all the way away from this game because I just keep getting Clemson wrong, right? But I think under 36.5 team total for Clemson is probably what I would bet if I was taking anything in this because of what we've seen from this offense. They couldn't move the ball against Troy. They couldn't move the ball against Georgia Tech. I do think that those might be better defenses than Syracuse, but until they show me that they can bow up and make some plays on offense and even some chunk plays, I don't think you can bet on Clemson right now. So BP says to fade this game, fade Clemson in this game at least. I'm going to listen, and I think under 36.5 is what I would do if I do anything, and they haven't hit that total in the last 3 games against Syracuse.
Yeah, I like that play a lot. And like the collapse of this Clemson offense, like this needs to be studied in a freaking lab, Bogman, because like I get Antonio Williams has not been out there, but they still got good guys. They still got Bryant Wesco Jr. They still have Brown. And like Phil Maffa was nothing special at the running back position either. Like that guy went undrafted. So it's like, I get you're converting your receiver to a running back. There's question marks there, but it should not be this bad. So, yeah, this needs to be figured out before I'm laying any money, I think, with Clemson at all. And if anything, I like your play of the team total going on that under. So, nice one there. Let's move to the Civil War where the number 6 Oregon Ducks, they're laying 34.5 points in their in-state rivalry matchup against the Oregon State Beavers. This will get underway at 3 Eastern time in Eugene. And it was a 5-7 season for the Beavs, and they did bring in Duke transfer Malik Murphy to play quarterback. They also returned their 1,000-yard rusher Anthony Hankerson and stud wide receiver Trent Walker. However, things have not got any better for the Beavs this season. They're 0-3 straight up and ATS. They've lost as favorites to Cal and even Fresno State at home. And they also then got blown out by Texas Tech and Bear Morton last week. So Oregon lost a ton of production as well, including their quarterback Dylan Gabriel, who saw a little action with the Browns on Sunday. Their top 2 wide receivers, Tez Johnson, he's in the NFL. Evan Stewart, we know, also tore his ACL in camp this offseason. They lost Jordan James. They lost their tackle, Josh Cornerly, edge, Jordan Birch. Like, the list goes on here, man. But they have really continued to put things together here. Third-year quarterback Dante Moore, he has stepped in valiantly. He's led the Ducks to a 2-1 ATS record. They covered big in back-to-back weeks against Montana State and Oklahoma State, but they did fail to cover last week, winning 34-14 along the shores in Northwestern. Head-to-head, the Ducks are 3-2 straight up and ATS against the Beavers since 2020 here, Bogman. This is a game that has also been played to the over in 4 of those 5 matchups. So where do you think this number goes, and are you going to be willing to lay it?
I think with such a huge number, it can only go down, right? Like, that's my thought process. This is too big. This is a rivalry game. A lot of these teams, plus all of this many points, have been losing as well. So, I think if it goes anywhere, it's going to move down. But I mean, even our system shows a shade towards Oregon. And this is one of the worst Oregon State teams I've ever seen in my life. I mean, I remember I picked them against Fresno State. I picked Fresno State against them. Yeah. Fresno State smoked them. I did think they would be good enough to score some points at Texas Tech, and they just had nothing in that game. But they also couldn't stop Texas Tech. So I'm fine with Oregon. I'll also say this, like, Oregon gave up 2 touchdowns late to Northwestern, and the team total for Oregon State's only 9.5. So they stayed with Malik Murphy way late into the game, and they scored twice against Texas Tech as well. So I think that 9.5 Oregon State is definitely doable. If you're going to lay 37.5, maybe just take the team total 45.5 instead for Oregon.
I agree.
Yeah, I mean, I just think that this game is not going to be competitive. Oregon is going to get a big lead. They're going to lean on Oregon State, and we've seen Lanning this year likes to send a message. So I expect them to score a lot of points in this game.
Yeah, I think the team total or just the over in general is where I'm going to go. Like, I do like some of these pieces they have at Oregon State on offense. Like Hankerson, always a guy who's going, the top 3 or 4 rounds in CFF drafts. Part of that's definitely the volume. But at the same time, like, I feel like that, Trent Walker's a dude, man. He's going to get drafted probably, at least on day 3 this upcoming NFL draft process. So, I think they can maybe score. And so I don't hate, doing what you're doing, going over that 9.5 total either. So nothing against the spread for either of us, but definitely some leans in the team total markets there. Let's get to the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, number 24. They're back in South Bend, dude.
Now you sound like me the last couple of years with Notre Dame at this point, right?
I know, and it's so upsetting because this was a team that we continued to bet on last year and had success with, and now they have to run the table to get even a shot at the college football playoffs. And that starts here as 26.5, 27.5 point favorites against the Purdue Boilermakers. Purdue, a little bit of improvement this season so far, man. 2-1 ATS and straight up. They won and covered against Ball State 31-0 in that opener. Then they beat Southern Illinois 34-17 in week 2, and then covered 33-17 against USC. However, all those games were in West Lafayette. Keep that in mind. We do have redshirt sophomore Ryan Brown. He's now under center. Does only have just a 5-4 touchdown to interception ratio. This offense, though, is really moving through that running back Devin Mockabee once again. He leads the Big Ten in rushing attempts. The Irish, meanwhile, 0-2 straight up, 0-2 against the spread. I bet them both times. And it hasn't really been the offense's fault, man. Like, CJ Carr has looked brilliantly at times. I really like the touch on the ball that he has. Jeremiah Love, Jadarian Price, they showed up in big spots last week when they needed them. I just think, like, they need to go and find Al Golden, get him back here, like give this man $1 million, buy this man a boat. I mean, because their defense right now, Bogman, 108th in total defense. And like, yes, you played the Aggies. Yes, you played, a good team in week 1 as well. But at the same time, like, I'm not that scared of Carson Beck. At least I didn't think I should be. So, Boggs, I've lost enough money on the Irish this year to go back to that well. Yes. Where do you stand, and where do you project this line to move as well?
Yeah, I think this line stays somewhere in this neighborhood of 26.5, right? BP shows an edge towards Purdue as well. But didn't we see this game last year? Angry Notre Dame coming off that loss to NIU goes to Purdue and beat them 66-7. I remember that because I lost a boatload of money on that game. I picked the under because I was like, look, it's clear Riley Leonard is playing hurt and blah, blah, blah. And then they went out and put 66 points up against Purdue. So do I trust Purdue or Notre Dame in this game? Absolutely not. We just saw Purdue cover against a decent USC team, right? And we just saw Notre Dame not be able to stop anything that Texas A&M threw at them. And Texas A&M is a good school. That's a good loss for Notre Dame. They're a much better team than Purdue. They're going to win by 3 touchdowns. I would say that is at least going to happen. But their defense is playing bad right now. We saw Purdue put up some points. Again, 13.5 team total for Purdue. If I'm doing anything in this bet, let me leave in this game. Let me leave Notre Dame all the way out of it. Let me just take the Purdue over 13.5 and go that way. So I think that's what I would take from what we've seen from Notre Dame's secondary this season. I might make this bet. I'll let y'all know on Wednesday. I'm not going to say I have not put any money on Purdue yet, but it's a possibility. But if I'm touching this game at all, that's probably the only thing I would do.
The one big takeaway I have for Notre Dame's defense this season, other than like go find Al Gold and protect that man at all costs, is Xavier Watts must have been a freaking stud because he's
been pretty good for the Falcons so far. Yeah.
I mean, he's the only guy that's like out of the secondary, and they've been absolutely cheeks. Like I get the pass rush hasn't been what it was last season. We have a couple guys kind of coming back from injury that maybe aren't at full strength, but still, I mean, it's just been bad, dude. And like I just don't get it. It is veterans on that secondary, in that secondary. Marcus Freeman hopefully laid into those guys, and it was hopefully a tough week at practice after that embarrassing performance on Saturday night there. Let's move to some brighter days ahead where the number 21 Michigan Wolverines, they're back on the road as they head to Lincoln as only 1.5 to 2.5 point favorites against the undefeated Nebraska Cornhuskers. It was a really interesting non-con for Michigan. They are now 2-1 straight up, 1-2 ATS. They failed to cover in week 1 against New Mexico and week 2 at Oklahoma, but they took care of business last week against Central Michigan, 63-3 as 29.5 point favorites, outgaining the Chippewas here, 616 yards to 139. Bogman, that is crazy number that someone could be under 150 yards in college football. True freshman quarterback, number 1 overall prospect, Bryce Underwood. He hasn't necessarily lit the world on fire, but still, he has totaled 37% of Michigan's total passing yards from last season as a whole. So he's done good, man, like for what you could expect from a true freshman. The transfer running back there to Justice Haynes, he has been a man on a mission. Kind of got scrappy there between him and Bryce during that game as well on the sidelines, but he's averaged over 129 rushing yards per game. Nebraska, meanwhile, 3-0 straight up, 2-1 ATS. They've covered as a huge favorite against Houston Christian. Also against Akron, they blew them out. They did fail to cover against Cincinnati, though, early on. Matt Rolesman's currently top 10 in both total offense and total defense. In large part, that is due to sophomore quarterback Dylan Raiola. He has lived up to the billing here in year number 2 so far. 8-0 TD to interception ratio, leads the Big Ten in completions as well. Bogman, where does this line move in a rivalry that Michigan has absolutely dominated, winning 5 of 7, since 2011, including 4 straight?
I think it is going to move towards Michigan, right? And we have this as Nebraska at home probably needs to be the favorite here, just slightly, like at least a coin flip. So I hate this game. First of all, Michigan's got a couple pieces banged up in the secondary. Nebraska also has a couple banged up pieces on defense. So maybe the over is a smart play with it being so low at 44.5, right? And we just did see Michigan's offense get on track against Central Michigan, saw some things that worked, get all that fighting out of the way against Central Michigan. So when you go to Nebraska, everything is copacetic, right? But the secondary being banged up, Nebraska being at home, this is a game where I'd probably be all over the Wolverines if they were at home. I thought they played Oklahoma really well. But this game being on the road for Bryce Underwood, big time road start. Obviously, already had the one against Oklahoma and they lost. I do think Michigan is a much better team than Nebraska is still. I thought that, Nebraska opening up the season and barely covering against Cincinnati and scraping out of that game with a win was not a very good performance.
Sure.
It didn't lead to a lot of good feelings about Nebraska for me. So I'm probably going to stay away till we get a little more clarity on these injuries in the secondary for Michigan. But I think the over is the smart play as it stands right now.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. If we could get Michigan as this short of a favorite in the big house, I think I would probably bet it,
The problem is they'd be 6.5 point favorites in the big house. And then,
Yeah, like that is a rowdy environment down there, man. Like, you ever see how they pack that stadium just for volleyball games? Like, it's unbelievable, man. So, like,
what else are you going to do in Omaha, Nebraska?
Oh, man, you can go out in the cornfields and have a bonfire. Like, you can do some fun stuff, man.
Sounds great.
I tell Boggs didn't enjoy many bonfires in high school, did you?
I mean, there's nothing to burn. I lived in the desert, so.
All right, let's keep it moving here. The next top 25 matchup on the slate, it gets underway in Norman, where we have the 11th ranked Oklahoma Sooners hosting the 22nd ranked Auburn Tigers. Auburn comes in 3-0 straight up with just 1-2 ATS, though. They failed to cover against both Ball State and South Alabama. They did at least beat Baylor by 2 touchdowns on the road in week 1. Oklahoma transfer quarterback Jackson Arnold, he has kept it clean this season, scoring 8 total touchdowns and no interceptions, hoping to get his revenge on Saturday. He's surrounded by just some absolute stud wide receivers, Cam Coleman, Georgia Tech transfer Eric Singleton Jr., plus a defense that is top 50 in the total defense as well. Oklahoma undefeated as well, 2-1 ATS and back-to-back covers against Temple and Michigan, plus a 35-3 win over Illinois State. John Mateer, to me, I think he's been as advertised, if not better. 9 total touchdowns, 3 interceptions, leading the SEC right now in completions and passing yards. And while he doesn't have quite the arsenal that I think Jackson Arnold does, still making the most of those skill players. Deion Burks at wide receiver has been great, as well as tight end Jaron Koenig. Their defense, they have been, I would say, probably one of the best in the country without overrating them. Allowed the 4th fewest yards per game, 181. Last year, OU won and covered in their SEC debut against Auburn. Will that be the case again, Scott? And are the Sooners right now at 6.5 the best number we're going to see this week?
I'm not sure which way this is going to move. I would assume that nobody gives Auburn credit and that it moves towards OU. So I'd probably, if I wanted, I'd get it now. You said it's at 6.5 or 5.5?
6.5 right now.
Okay, it was 5.5 yesterday.
Okay.
So
it's moving then.
Yeah, it's already moving towards them. But I would say we're showing just a slight lean towards Oklahoma there. And I think it's obvious that Jackson Arnold has made Auburn a better team, right?
Yeah.
Clearly this offense is so much better.
Couldn't do much worse than Hank Brown and
Thorne.
Yeah,
It was just a mess.
Back-to-back 4 interception games for him.
Oh, this was one of them. Oklahoma was one of them, by the way.
Yeah, good point.
Because this was one that I barely got, and I was super happy because Jackson Arnold threw a pick 6 at the end of it. So Arnold is obviously making Auburn better, but he doesn't make them as good as John Mateer makes Oklahoma to me.
Yeah,
this is a home game for Oklahoma as well. Auburn won the shootout with Baylor to start. Then they didn't cover against South Alabama. I think both of these teams are playing to their expectations offensively. Baylor obviously is not doing it on defense right now. So because of that, because this game is at home, and because I think the Sooners are a better team with Mateer than Jackson Arnold makes Auburn, I would lean towards Oklahoma in this game. I'm going to call it a lean right now. Yeah. Hopefully this doesn't get too much further towards Oklahoma, but if you want Oklahoma, I'd probably go ahead and take it now.
Yeah, I agree. And wow, quite the heel turn here. You going to the other side of the Red River, my friend. Wow.
Well, listen,
what a day.
What I like is money. So I like to not lose any more than I already have. So if Oklahoma is going to help me win some money, they could be on my side for a week
Yeah, I like Oklahoma. What did Terrell get their college football playoff ticket at? Like 5-1 or something? It was a really good number. So I might ride with the boys here. I might ride with the boys and also get on Oklahoma. So we'll see. We'll see. Maybe not here. We also have another great SEC clash as well, where after a top 15 preseason ranking, the South Carolina Gamecocks, they've fallen outside the top 25. They hope they can regain some status here as they take on number 23 Missouri on the road. SC, they lost to Vandy last week, 31-17. Failed to cover against South Carolina State. Relied on some big plays to get past Va Tech as well. We have once Heisman hopeful Lenore Sellers. I'm not sure if he's going to play in this game. He's been looked even pretty pedestrian from what he has played as well. Just 3 total touchdowns, under 500 yards, leading the Gamecocks right now. Boggs, listen to this, 116th in total offense. And it's not like they've played anyone that's, in my opinion, like that stout on defense as well.
Virginia Tech just fired their coach.
Yeah, right.
I mean,
yeah. I mean, Mizzou, meanwhile, 3-0 ATS and straight up with wins and covers against Louisiana, Kansas, and Central Arkansas. Penn State transfer quarterback Bo Perbula, he has been absolutely sensational. He has completed an SEC high 76.4% of passes, total 10 touchdowns, just 1 interception. Louisiana Monroe transfer running back Ahmad Hardy, he's been just as good as well. He went from leading the Sun Belt to leading the SEC in rushing over 150 yards per game. Anyone who always talks crap on these G5 guys saying they can't make it in the Power 4, there's another example there. We also have Mississippi State transfer wide receiver Kevin Coleman. He might be as good, if not better, than Luther Burden was. Yeah, man. So this offense,
I won so many prop bets with Kevin Coleman last year. Yeah,
great. Yeah, dude. I mean, combined right now to rank 4th in total offense, also top 5 in total defense. So Bogman, vibes are certainly high in Mizzou. The most they have been since the preseason of last year. But this line is huge right now.
It's too big.
12.5 to 13.5. That's crazy, man.
Yeah, let's see it come down a little bit. I think if we get good news on Lenore Sellers, it will come down. You can't trust South Carolina right now, right? Mm-hmm. Specifically, if Lenore Sellers doesn't play. Luke Doty I think he's going to be okay, but to make your first start on the road against Missouri and a Missouri team that is playing with a lot of confidence right now, and then like you just mentioned, Bo Perbula looks like one of the best quarterbacks in the country at this point. Like, you just can't bet against them. I mean, Missouri has been great. They did allow 31 points to Kansas, but only 226 total yards in 1933 in time of possession to the Jayhawks in that game. So this is all Missouri for me. If I do make a bet, I will lay points and take Missouri. Maybe I have to, alternate line it or something. Mm-hmm. We're showing about 11.5 towards Missouri, but they're favored by 12 or 13.5. So let's see. Maybe we get some positive news on Lenore Sellers and this trends more towards South Carolina. Let's hope for that and then take Missouri at home. But the line is just too big to start. I would say Missouri can easily win by that much. I just don't like it against another strong SEC team, specifically one that has not played up to their ability yet, like they can at any point. So, if I'm doing anything, I'm taking Missouri and laying points, but I'm trying to wait and see if it moves down at all.
What if Sellers comes back? Would you be inclined to bet the over? 46.5 feels low for two teams that have not been great on defense.
I just did that noise and lost money on it. So no. And here's the reason. Because let's say Illinois Sellers does play, right? Is he 100%? Is he 75%? Is he going to play the first drive and then we go to Doty because it's clear that he wasn't good enough? Right? Like, so
I think
no.
Bo can put up 28 though, man. You know what I mean? I think he can put up 28 points if we just had Diego Pavia. I mean, he came in and put up 35 against him. Like Theo Vaughn's going on a date with his mom right now.
I think you're right. I think you're right. I think it can happen. Am I willing to bet it?
Yeah. Okay.
That's the thing, and I'm not right now. So I'll say no. I mean, I think South Carolina is a way better team than Kansas, right? So I think there'll be a bigger challenge even without Lenore Sellers than Kansas was. But I do think I like Missouri, and I like what's happening at Missouri right now. If I made a bet on them, I would take it, but they screwed me on the over last week when Sellers got hurt, so I'm not going to go back to that well.
I will make a bet that Terrell is glowing from ear to ear when he comes in on our midweek show. And what does he have to do to get a date with Miss Pavia? Do you think what's the play here for our guy Terrell?
Show up to Vandy, man. Apparently they're selling like hotcakes right now with some dubs. Let's go.
All right, guys, you can track your bets and stay accountable and also level up your gambling game all by downloading the free BettingPros app. And with the Sportsbook Sync feature, you're going to automatically track your bets across all major books in just one spot. Easily monitor your bet performance by sport and bet type, including game picks, props, and of course parlays. Create custom betting systems to find some winning trends and profitable opportunities. New users, you're going to get yourself 6 months of free Betting Pros Premium on the house with your first deposit and wager at any of our partner sportsbooks, including Hard Rock Bet, baby. Learn more at bettingpros.com/premium. The number 4 Miami Hurricanes, they have emerged as the favorites in the ACC, if you don't count Georgia Tech in there, after a 3-0 straight-up start and 2-1 ATS. There's been a ton of turnover here for the Canes, but it has not stopped Mario Cristobal, as he has wins now of 49-12 over South Florida, 45-4 over Bethune-Cookman, and 37-24 against Notre Dame in week 1, 27-24, excuse me. And they hope to keep the good times rolling against the 1-3 Florida Gators, who are coming into town. The Gators, they've failed to cover in back-to-back weeks, losing outright to both South Florida and LSU. So, Boggs, is this as simple as, look, both these teams, they've played USF, one blew them out, one lost. So do we just hammer the Canes here? And do you think the public will also have a similar mindset?
I'll tell you that we're showing just like a slight lean to the Canes right now at 8.5. And you said it's 7.5 currently, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So that's not a ton, but you're right, dude. Vibes in the eye test are not on the Florida sideline right now. Miami isn't perfect, but they stomped UCF into the ground. And LSU's defense is probably better than Miami's, right? And they held Florida only 10 points.
Yeah.
But 5 interceptions from Lagway, pathetic. They had the ball for 37-46 in this game and got 1 touchdown. That is pathetic on offense right now. So playing a team like Miami just isn't a good situation for Florida. Being on the road is not a good situation for Florida. Miami does have FSU after this, but it's after a bye week. So they're not on a look ahead right now. They do have Florida State next, but it's in 2 weeks, not next week. I think this one is pretty simple. Miami is playing to the best of their ability right now, and Florida is not even close to it. So if both teams were peaking, this would be a coin flip game, right? Even in Miami, because Florida's got a lot of talent. Their defense has played well. I don't want to knock their defense. Like they held USF to 18 points. They held LSU to only 20 points. The defense is playing well, which is what will keep them in this game. And Lagway is a good prospect, and maybe things click for him, right? That can happen for Florida at any point. How can you expect it after what we've seen so far? You can't expect it right now. Lagway is playing the worst football he's probably ever played in his life, and he has to face a top 10 team on the road right now. So to me, it's pretty simple. Just take Miami and lay the points.
Look, we got sold a false bag of goods right now on DJ Lagway, and I was the middleman pushing it. Like, I apologize, because what we saw from this guy down the stretch last season was sensational. He does not look like the same player at all.
He's probably not healthy. And that's the big thing. Is like the dude has not been healthy in his collegiate career. Same with Lenore Sellers. That's why the old scouting trope is the best ability is availability. Just be there, right? So he's playing through it, but something is wrong with Lagway right now. I would guess it's injury.
Yeah, I hope so, because I was high on this kid, and I would like to see, the DJ Lagway we got in 2024 as a true freshman that lit the SEC on fire down the stretch. Let's keep it moving here. The first top 25 Big Ten matchup of the season gets underway, baby, in Bloomington with the number 19 ranked Hoosiers. They are actually laying 3.5 to 4.5 points against the number 9 Illinois Fighting Illini. The Illini, undefeated straight up and ATS, they got wins and covers against Western Illinois, Duke, and Western Michigan as well. Luke Altmaier, he's been dealing again, 8 passing touchdowns, second in the Big Ten, no picks. Also, we were all worried Pat Bryant was going to the NFL. Well, say hello to Hank Beatty, baby. This kid has been absolutely sensational. Second in the conference in receptions with 19. Also a punt return touchdown for Beatty as well. I think we can throw out the record book in this series. I'm not looking at any past history because Sig Signetti, he brought a different team to town last year, finishing 11-2 and leading IU to a college football playoff berth. Out is Curtis Rourke at quarterback. In is Fernando Mendoza, transferring from Cal, currently leading the conference in passing touchdowns with 9. Back, though, are 2026 NFL draft prospects, wide receiver Elijah Surratt and edge Malachi Kamara. He was 4th in the Big Ten last year in sacks as well. So IU 3-0 straight up, 2-1 ATS. They failed to cover against Old Dominion in week 1. Boggs is on
because
that
I bet on them.
But then they did so the next 2 weeks. Kennesaw State, Indiana State. Should have
I
stayed
didn't
with
bet
them,
on
Boggs.
them. Yep.
So, Boggs, are you surprised that Indiana is actually favored by over 3 points here? Or do you think that's just home field advantage and this should really be a pick'em if it was a neutral site game?
I mean, I am the cooler this year, for God's sake. Look, I think that this is an absolute coin flip game, right?
It is.
I think I'm just going to give the favor to whoever's at home, and that happens to be Indiana. It's a home game. It's at night. This has been sold out for months, this game. Like, this is the exact game that Signetti was talking about when he got on the fans and said, you guys need to show up for us and we will show up for you. This is the exact game. And there's no college game day there. There's no Fox big afternoon and all that. And, whatever it's called. I always screw these names up, but it's not a signature game. So it is night. It should be a wild atmosphere. I just feel like this is a money line play, but it's minus 192. I would rather be on the Indiana side. So let's see if this line comes back towards Illinois at all and take it then. Other than that, I like Indiana in this game because they're at home. Illinois is a very strong team as well, and I think they match up well with Indiana, specifically with the secondary. Illinois, one of the better secondaries. We mentioned that against Duke. It didn't work in terms of props because, Mensah hit his passing prop, and I had the under for him, but it was because they were losing so bad. He had thrown interceptions early in the game that they had to play catch up for most of that game. It wasn't a tight one. This one I think is going to be a tight one. So I'm probably on unders all over the place here and expect the defense to play well. But this is like if I want Indiana or Illinois, like if I want Illinois, just give them to me on the money line. I'm going to get plus money. Let's go with that. But if I like Indiana, the money line juice is too bad at minus 192. I'd probably just go ahead and add it to a parlay that I'm doing.
Yeah, that's pretty much how I feel about this one is like, and I can't even parlay the money line because I don't have confidence in it hitting, right? Like I see this one going either way and like minus 188, just way too bad. Like I think there is honestly probably EV on Illinois here, but I'm not betting it because you can have all the EV in the world, but you still can't get him to the window. Enter Buffalo in the chat against Kent State last week, right? Like, so, so I'm out on this game, and I will say I'm also out on Fox Big Noon Kickoff. Like I love the coverage. Yeah, but like I don't know. I've never been a big Urban Meyer fan, and Mark Ingram's
game day.
Yeah, Mark. If you guys watch Big Noon Kickoff, let us know down in the chat. I would honestly be curious to know. Like, there's people to watch it. Like Portnoy has made it a little bit better from what I've heard out there on the streets, but other than him, I think I'm a pretty hard pass on it. So, and Matt Leinart. Matt Leinart seems like a cool dude. I'd like to have a beer with Matt Leinart sometime. Yeah. You Matt Leinart guy?
Yeah, I've met Matt Leinart. He's a nice guy.
Oh, you haven't? Oh, okay, nice.
I'm from Arizona.
Oh, yeah, there you go. There you go. All right, well, let's go ahead, ladies and gentlemen. Let's round out the program with a Big 12 clash in Waco where the Baylor Bears are laying 2.5 points on the defending conference champs, the Arizona State Sun Devils. We previewed this ASU team that returns a ton of starters, including quarterback Sam Levitt and wide receiver Jordan Tyson, who currently leads the conference in receiving yards and receiving touchdowns. That was prior to them getting knocked off in Starksville when we previewed them, though, Boggs. And Mississippi State handled them well there. Late comeback. They finally got their first cover of the season last week, but it came just against Texas State. Baylor, meanwhile, also 1-2 ATS, winning and covering at SMU in week 2. but losing to Auburn in week 1 and failing to reach the number last week at home against Samford. Senior quarterback Sawyer Robertson, I've heard him being described as a ball thrower because he certainly throws the ball a lot, man. Leads the conference right now, 84 attempts. Does lead the country in passing yards, but that's probably a byproduct of the volume. He also has running back Bryson Washington in the backfield, who's on pace for another 1,000-yard season. So, Boggs, a lot of good offensive pieces on both sides of the ball here. Ton of veteran talent, though, as well on the defense. So where are we going here in this Big 12 clash down in Baylor?
Over. Well, how about let's get back to some good old-fashioned Big 12 overs, right? We saw Baylor blow it at home against Auburn. Arizona State fall on their face against Mississippi State earlier this year. So these are not flawless teams. These are teams that have had their struggles already. But the offenses are starting to really roll downhill. We saw Sam Leavitt struggle, but run the ball incredibly well so far. Passing the ball, he's thrown some picks, made some bad decisions, that kind of stuff. Baylor put up 600 yards of offense against SMU. Obviously, that game went into overtime, but 43 against Auburn to start the season, another overtime game. And I just think we saw what Jackson Arnold did running the ball against Baylor, did we not? Sam Leavitt is a running quarterback. So I think Arizona State's going to score some points. And I think that you said Sawyer Robertson, one of the better ball throwers in the country here, is going to put up a bunch of yards against ASU defense that missed the mark against Mississippi State, right? Blake Shapen threw 3 touchdowns, 279 yards passing in that game. BP also shades it a little bit slightly towards the over. I think we said it's 58.5, correct?
I'm showing 59.5 now.
59, so it's climbing, so maybe get it quick here. But yeah, we're showing closer to 62. So I think that I would take the over in this game if I'm taking anything. This is probably the most confident I am on one. So wait for this to move up and then take your under ticket, clearly. So, but I do like the over here because of the state of the offenses right now. I think, look, Baylor had to do a lot of catching up to catch SMU last week. I think that probably sparked a little bit of a fire for them. And Arizona State hasn't looked good outside of some big plays and Sam Leavitt pulling it down and running it. And this is a team that gave up a ton of rushing to Jackson Arnold in the run game of Auburn. So, the over here is my favorite play.
Well, if it makes anyone feel any worse, I also am leaning towards the over as well. So, Robertson.
Hey, look, we're gonna have a good week this week and bury last week in a shallow grave. All right, week 3, 2025 has been buried in a shallow grave. We don't want to see it ever again.
If we go down together, buddy. That's what we're doing this week. And Robertson's just a fun quarterback to watch because he's never going to be a guy who's going to go on to the next level and have any success, but he's going to grip it and rip it and probably going to drink a couple beers after the game as well. So really, I'm going to look forward to this one. I'm going to look forward to some points in it. Get back to some Big 12 overs here. I like to play there quite a bit there, Bogman, to close us out. That is going to do it for us on the Early Picks episode of the BettingPros College Football Show. As a reminder, this is just the appetizer for us this week. So if you're like, hey, I need more picks. You guys aren't giving out picks. You're leaning. I need official plays. Those come Wednesday. We also have later in the week coming out as well our parlay picks and prediction show. And then Boggs, he rounds us out on Friday with his official picks and prop bets. So a ton of props, a ton of plays you can't miss out on. Still to come later this week is everything I just named and more. Let us know down in the comments your favorite week 4 picks and predictions. And while you're here, make sure you're smashing that like button and subscribing to the channel if you're new. For my pal Scott Bogman, I'm Seth Woolcock. Take care, y'all.